Hi everyone, welcome to our 5.1 notes. We're just looking at the very last part, and this lesson is on the mode, which is the last measure of central tendency that we're going to discuss, talking about statistics and data sets. So the mode is our very last one, and this is our 5.1 notes, and we are on the very last page of our 5.1 notes as well. Okay, so we've talked about a couple of new terms in statistics. One is the range. One is the mean, which is the average value in a value set. One is the median, which is the middle value in a value set or data set. And finally, this last one, the mode, is the value that we see most often in a data set. So that's the definition of a mode. So the mode can also be called the most common value. Okay. It's a value that we see at least twice, maybe more. Okay, so here's a data set here in front of us. The numbers 48, 45, 42, 48, 49, and 48. This is a data set, and each one of these values, so 48, 45, 42, they are all individual values. Okay, the mode for this set would be the value that I see occurring most often, and I think that you can eyeball it and recognize that the number 48 is occurring most often. And so we say 48 is the most common value, so it's also the mode. Okay, so the mode is 48. Okay, it's the most frequent. It's even a better word than the most common, although they're pretty similar. Okay, the most frequent value that I see. Okay, it is possible to have more than one mode. So if we see say 2 or 3 values that are occurring multiple times, we can say that those are the modes. There's more than one mode. So for example, let's look at this data set that we have right here. And here's the numbers I see: 2, 2, 3, 6, 5, 2, and 3. Well, I see that the number 2 is occurring multiple times. Okay, so definitely one mode is 2. Okay, so we definitely have that as a mode. But I also see that the number 3 appears twice. So it is true to say that 2 is a mode, and in this case, 3 is also a mode because I do see 3 occurring more than once here as well. Okay, so really simply then, your modes are just the values that you see appearing frequently. Okay, so modes would be 2 and 3 in this question. It doesn't matter that 2 appears, you know, once more compared to the value 3. They're both frequent values, so we can say they're both modes. Okay. It is also possible to have no mode. So if you have a data set where there is no repetition of any of the values, then we say there's no mode because there's no value that is occurring more frequently than any other value. So for example, you know, the numbers down below here, if I look at them, 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 4, 7, they're all different values. So there is no value here that's occurring more than once, and so there's no mode. Okay, so a mode is just a way of identifying the most frequent value. And again, we can have a situation where there's not any mode. There can be a situation where we have a couple or maybe many modes, or we may just have one mode, okay, if only one value is occurring multiple times. All right, that ends our lesson for 5.1, and I'm just going to bring it to the very bottom of your page there. So here's just a really quick quick summary. The three terms that we use when we're talking about how the data is centered, or another way to say that is how the data is clustered. Those are all called measures of central tendency, and they are the mode, the median, and the mean. I would like you to be familiar with what each one means, as well as how to determine each one. Okay, what we should know about them is that the mean, okay, so this is the mean. The mean is very useful to us to tell us where the data is centered, especially when there are no extreme values. So if there are no outliers, okay, then our mean is really giving us a really accurate picture of where the center of my data is concentrated. Okay, so whatever value I calculate for my mean, it's really representative of the whole data set. If there's nothing, no other number there on the very far end of our data that is skewing our mean or causing our mean to be a little bit different compared to the median. Okay, the median is the middle value, and it's really useful if you do have outliers. Okay, so if you do have outliers, again, those outliers are going to affect the mean. So our mean might not be that useful to us. A median would be a better measure to use to kind of get an idea of where the middle of our data is then. Okay, and why would the mode be useful to us? Well, a mode is going to tell us if we have a value that's occurring many, many times. Okay, and sometimes if there's no outliers, what we find is that the mean, the median, and the mode are all very close. Okay, that could be very possible. But the mode is useful to us because it tells us that there's a particular data value or particular number that is popping up over and over again. And so that is definitely of interest to us. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do your worksheets 5.0 and 5.1 in your worksheet package. There are answers at the end of 5.2. So if you have a look at the end of your 5.2 worksheet, you will see that all of the chapter 5 answers are there for your worksheets. Okay, so you can check your work. Thanks for joining me and good luck. Bye for now.